Chris and Ryan, and we know that you're dying to hear what we have to say today. I say we hear what we have to say today. It's the blank. Fill it in. Fill it in. Fill it in. Yeah.
Hercules.
It's uncomfortable to see you like this. Young world. I'm Carlos.
I'm Ryan.
You know. Thank you. You could have just tested me then. This is the blank with Carlos and Ryan. Welcome to another week. Another edition. A special edition of 316 Day.
316 Day.
Give me a hell yeah!
Should be drinking a beer though, or like a Bud.
Yeah.
It was actually a great, and for those who don't know what we're talking about, you know, Jesus Christ.
No.
What was the second part of the book again?
Austin 316.
Oh, okay.
And it reads, and I quote, and I just whooped your ass. Give me a hell yeah.
That would have been a sick t-shirt that was a kid.
Austin 316, sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can still get those. 316s. I just realized I'm not a Guinness fan.
No?
It's alright.
It's a little bit.
We're probably going to lose some sponsorships over this, but
It's a little bit dark. I think today, we are doing it on the Wednesday as opposed to the 17th.
Are we uploading it still tomorrow?
Oh, yeah.
So why on earth do you have to notify them what day we have to record?
Well, you said 316. Come on, Lois.
I did do that.
But
I did do that.
for the slow start of our episode, I do want to say thank you for joining another week with us. We are doing it on an off day today just because there does happen to be some events tomorrow, which includes some green. Hence the reason why I'm wearing my Enjoy shirt and Carlos's Guinness. It is St. Patty's Day tomorrow, so there are a couple of things that I do have to attend, and I'm sure that Carlos has some PYT, waiting around.
Nope.
Nope. Redhead PYT.
Just chilling at home.
Off the wall.
Nope. Not the same
That
album.
Thriller.
Yeah, there you go.
That Thriller PYT.
Nope. Just chilling.
But welcome in for another week. We do appreciate you coming back this week. I do apologize. I feel like I'm a little bit under the weather today. I don't know what it is, but I'm actually drinking tea as opposed to a regular beer or alcoholic beverages or even just the water in itself. But I don't know what it is. I think it's like a little bit of a stomach ache. So I do apologize if this episode I'm not as hyper as I usually am. But I just want to kind of throw that out there. But yet again, thank you for another week. We definitely appreciate you coming back. Today's episode is actually going to be pretty fucking interesting. I think it's a serious topic.
I thought you were going to say fun. I was like, yeah.
No. Well, I guess it would be fun to bring up like a couple of jokes about it and stuff like that. But
Parenthood is no joke. It's a serious matter.
I always picture the Bad Boys scene.
With Will Smith and Marlo. It's
like eventually you're gonna have a daughter, and then I'm gonna be like the terrible uncle.
Yeah, right. You'd probably just be like, "Hey, welcome, man. Listen, dude, she's great, dude. She's great." I'd be like, "Man, what the fuck are you doing? I'm trying to scare the shit out of this guy, and you're just out here, just like, yeah, come have some tea with me, man.
You're already family.
Yeah, get in here, pal. How long have you known each other? 2 days? You're married already. Come in.
But yeah, it should be a good episode. I'm excited to talk about today's topic. I think that it's something that, especially for people around our age, it's a lot of thought process going into. It's a big deal, honestly. I think there's like a pressure for a lot of the people around our age, and I do want to get into that kind of stuff eventually when we do get into the topic. But today we are going to start how we usually start.
Yeah. They'll say, oh no,
Oh,
no, that's the other podcast.
you bring up
recent news.
Austin 316 and Hales.
Oh, recent news. I am. Oh boy.
Not the buried alive match.
Yeah,
The buried alive match between Austin and the Undertaker.
my fault. Sorry. We were calling that one. Sorry. Recent news. Recent news. Yeah, St. Patty's, obviously.
Yes.
It's a big one.
Yeah.
I mean, still mask tomorrow. I don't think bars are going to be packed. I think there's still, is there a limit anymore?
I don't think so. It doesn't seem like there's a limit
But
at all,
still
realistically.
mask, so it's not really the same. And yeah, so I don't know how it's going to turn out, but we shall see. I forget. I had stuff and I forgot already.
Okay, well, I'll just throw some stuff out.
Yeah.
But St. Patty's Day, I definitely want to talk about something with John Tory today from all of you from Toronto. I think he officially named St. Patrick's Day Day 2 as of March 20th. And I think part of the reason for that is because we've shut down for the past 2 years because of our friend COVID over here.
Shut down, eh?
And we haven't had any sort of like celebrations or anything like that. So he's actually officially naming a second day in Toronto, St. Patty's Day number 2 on the Saturday, which I believe is the 20th.
Oh.
So they're doing the celebrations and all that stuff on Saturday. I'm sure there's gonna be tons of people wearing green still downtown, and there's the parade that day. Which is also, I'm sure it's pretty fun. I've never been myself, unfortunately. But I definitely have partaken in, St. Patty's Day's celebrations and stuff like that.
Okay.
But, Carlos, I think what are some of your favorite St. Patty's Day memories for us?
I went to a bar once. I rarely celebrated St. Patty's Day. Yeah. I am not Caucasian. So. What? It's a Irish holiday.
I love celebrating St. Patty's Day, man.
You're pretty Caucasian.
Any day of the week.
You're from Newmarket.
I remember going to the bar at on a Tuesday when it's St. Patty's Day. And shit like that.
Well, that's not even because you're white. That's because you're an alcoholic. You party the same day every day. Every time you go.
It's St. Patty's Day.
It's like
Ryan, it's December at 12 in the morning.
What the hell?
It's 11:30 in the morning.
Happy St. Patty's Day, bro. Dude, it's not the same thing, man. Yeah, well, I only went to that. I remember going to that bar. What's the name of that Irish bar that closed down? You remember?
I don't remember what it's called.
You remember what I'm talking about? Yeah, that was a pretty hyped up day that day. It got packed. We were there when it was dead, and then 20 minutes later, it just got packed up with people.
That's the fun part about St. Patty's Day, man. St. Patty's Day is so wild, and people fucking love it. And the only thing that I feel I missed out on is university and college St. Patty's Day. If you would go look at, and I've never been to one, but when you go look at London or Western, or even Queen's University, when they do their St. Patty's Day, their whole street's filled with people wearing green, and those guys drink from 10 in the morning the whole day kind of thing.
White people.
It's fucking madness.
It's too much.
And hearing from my cousins that went to those universities and the partying and stuff like that was just absolutely crazy. So definitely one of those things that I miss and wish got to do on St. Patty's Day. But
thank you. Minimum wage going up in April.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh my god, amazing.
55.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's great.
Great.
Yeah, they just raised it for pretty much the majority of people, and then all of a sudden 15.50.
15.55, 55, 54, 55.
They'll do the inflation?
Maybe, man. I don't fucking know I don't follow politics like that too much. I don't know.
It's gotta be inflation.
Gotta be some shit, dude. It's fucking crazy to live anywhere in this country, you know what I'm saying? It's expensive, yeah. Fuck it, dude, whatever. So long as everyone can afford to, pay their taxes, I guess. Fucking government. Sons of bitches. Russia has officially legalized for the piracy of movies and video games to get around Western sanctions.
Legalized
Piracy. So you can torrent
wow.
movies
That's weird.
and video games, and there'll be no repercussions from the government of Russia.
That's so weird.
But hey,
I guess those guys be playing shit for free.
yeah, you know what I mean?
Hanging out for
Legally
free.
downloading all these video games.
I don't know, man. That's weird.
That is
That's
odd.
really
That's an
weird.
odd thing. I mean, that's stubborn to just, do that shit simply because, you don't want to step down and, but you still want to go ahead with the attacks on the Ukraine. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it, but hey, to each their own, I guess. They're probably like getting some high quality free shit over there now, man.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that's fuck.
Yeah.
Just have to pay full price and shit.
I'm sure like Russia's got access to like the deep web and they got all kinds of freaky deaky.
What the hell is going on about? I'm just talking about what's in theaters and videos. You have to go and do that shit.
All kinds of deep web videos.
Shit.
That I've been looking for. In Canada.
You're creepy. Fucking sicko. Shame on you. I feel bad for the influencers out in Russia.
Do you?
Because they're probably losing a lot of money.
You feel bad? For those on audio, Carlos is shaking his head.
You don't have to describe it.
I'm just saying.
You don't have to, I do feel bad.
Do you?
But still, they're losing a lot of, they basically are cut off from the rest of the planet.
That's actually a huge thing.
That's big.
For the people that spent their whole lives in Russia becoming an influencer, they're not bringing any
income.
money in.
These
they don't
Twitch
know how to do
streamers,
anything else.
Twitch streamers are probably losing fans out there.
Yeah.
Shit, that's crazy. Because I remember I was there was a Russian YouTube channel, and I have no access to it whatsoever now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did they just
yeah, they blocked it off.
Did they give you a page that says oh, this channel has now been blocked?
Yeah.
Oh,
so I can't even go on the page to look at the.
Wow. Interesting.
I can search it up, the links will be up on the page, but even when I click it, it's this page is not viewable in your country.
Yeah.
They blocked us from them, and we are blocked, and they cannot see us.
That's the real shitty part about this war and stuff that's going on over there.
People
it's
who have no impact whatsoever are still
the innocent get affected by this. The innocent of Ukraine and fucking Russia. For the people who don't like to. I really just don't believe in what's going on over there. There's so many protests. I saw recently that there's this lady that came on live television and had a big no war sign, and then she got I think she got fined 23,000 rubles or something like that. But then it only ends up being $230 US now because their dollars.
I was hearing that people who had Western cryptocurrency. Yeah, they would give their money back. They would take the money from them because it's Western, and then they would replace it with the same amount in rubles, which is effectively
probably nothing. Yeah, next to nothing.
Shitty.
Yeah,
fucking awful.
Terrible situations going on over there.
You know what would piss me off is the people who are influencing on the Western end, who just have badges on their coats, or I'm with Ukraine in their Instagram descriptions, whereas they're just not doing shit. If you're gonna talk about it, be about it. Don't fucking play the hero when you know damn well you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Okay, I'm gonna be real with you. I have no idea why the fuck they're fighting. But I'm not going around saying I'm with Ukraine and I'm with Russia, or, so on and so forth. I just want the war to end. Peace and love, baby. I'm not going to fake it and be like, I'm with so-and-so and have no purpose. All right? So that goes for you westernized influencers, you hoe bags. I wish you were the ones that fucking lost out on all your income. Sons of bitches, you motherfuckers.
Speaking of that, that Elon Musk was in the news quite a bit.
He
in the last, like,
he
week or
challenged
so.
Vladimir to a bout.
The guy's like, I will do a one-on-one death match
with Vladimir Putin.
You know, that reminds me of that movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme and Bloodsport.
Bloodsport.
Yeah, that's what it reminds me of.
I don't think it would be very cringe to watch that fight. That'd be like Bloodsport was entertaining as hell, whereas those two were just going out oh my god.
I gotta watch that movie again. That was a dope movie.
It's very uncomfortable to watch. I'm just like, two men just stop it. Please stop. You're hurting me. Stop it. Cut it out.
Well, supposedly Putin's a black belt, man.
Putin would fuck his shit out.
Putin would. I don't know if I don't know if Elon's got some shit in his pocket.
Are you fucking kidding me? No way.
Like some black belt
jiu-jitsu
that he just doesn't have.
No way.
I don't know.
Two dudes out there fucking trying to make that spaceship to Mars and shit. He's probably challenging it because he knows he's going to Mars next week or some shit.
Probably.
And then like flies out. No, Putin would fuck his shit right up. No stone cold stunners. No fucking. It would just be like a grounded pound, bro.
Yeah.
100%.
Putin's old too. Now.
He's old, but
he
is a sicko. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, he looks like
you think he killed someone like with his own hands, right? Like, you think he has though? Do you think he has?
100%. Many times.
Yeah.
He probably has like a palace out in Russia somewhere, and he just like
bring that person.
He brings in people. He's
after a really stressful day.
Yeah. Did you pay your taxes this year?
It's like no,
man. You know, I don't have bread. I don't have soup. Like this and that. And they just come.
Get over here. Yeah. Let me feel your soul. And then he chokes him to death.
And then he had send flowers to the family.
Yeah, and then move on.
Something like that. Yeah. That's how I picture like real crazy dictatorship type shit. But
wild shit. Oh boy. Yeah, man. Vladimir ain't the one to fuck with, that's all. 316 Day in honor of Stone Cold Steve Austin. You know that he's releasing a beer in America now.
That's dope.
So are you traveling there to get it or what?
Oh, of course. I would love to go try Stone Cold Steve. I would love to just buy the can just to have as like a novelty. And then I'd probably end up drinking the beer and then keeping the can.
Just like, pacing back and forth. Why did I drink it? I wanted to keep it as a novelty.
But Stone Cold's a man, though.
He is the man.
I have one question, though. And then for those, I don't follow Christianity. Is there actually a 316 Bible verse that's like well known?
John 3:16.
Okay.
So that's what he based it off of.
And what is like the John 3:16 like Bible verse? Like what is it actually? Do you know? Preach.
And for God so loved the earth that he forgave his only begotten Son, and whosoever believes in him. I forget the rest.
All right, that was beautiful though.
Thank you,
Pastor Lois. Yeah, Pastor Lois.
Hold on, now I'm pretty sure I have like one line left.
See, everybody, for those who don't know, man, Carl's got all this shit in the back of his.
For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life.
So where did Stone Cold get the whoop ass from?
Because he just added his name. Because he had just, that's Austin 316 line is what really made his career. He was just like, he just finished a match. They give him a microphone. He's like, what are your thoughts? It's like, tell that piece of trash to get the hell out of my ring. Because the dude that he was fighting was like a born again Christian. And he's just like, talk about your Psalms and talk about your John 3:16s. Austin 3:16 says, I just whipped your ass. And then everyone's like, oh no, I'm going to buy that dude's t-shirt.
Yeah, that's dope.
And then he just went on that thing, and then Stone Cold was born.
It became a thing. Yeah. That's wild.
Austin 3:16. Hell yeah! Yeah, man.
That's some good shit.
Yeah, good times. They don't make it like they used to, That shit, if that shit was on TV right now, that shit would get canceled in a hurry.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
Fucking what wild shit happened? Power bombing old ass women through tables and shit. Fucking systemic racism and like, yeah, good times.
WWE's been through a lot.
It's been it has its ups and downs, but you know what? It's been there for us when we needed it. And that's what matters most. That's what matters most. Speaking of being there for us when we're down, today's topic: parenthood. Parenthood. Dum, 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 dum.
All right, Carlos, tell me about your dad.
All right, this is how I'm talking already.
Is that never?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Oh, Jesus.
Can you tell me how he was there all the time?
We're not gonna.
Can you tell me how you learned how to shave?
Talk about something else. We can totally, absolutely talk about something else.
Can you tell me how you learned how to pick up a basketball and play basketball?
Oh, shit. Oh, all right. Yeah. I'm sorry, folks. Ryan left the room. Yikes.
For those who don't know.
Yeah.
No, I'm just playing.
Yeah.
No, this is going to be an interesting topic.
Holy shit.
Can you tell me how you learned how to shave?
Yeah. YouTube. Yeah, Parenthood, man. Just
I guess like one of the first things I have for you, Carl, is like, you know, why is this an important topic to you know, for us just to talk about it, and why is it important for our viewers to like, you know, acknowledge it? I feel like a lot of our viewers are around our age and stuff like that, and like, why would it be important to them?
Well, it's because I know that if I was a parent, I wouldn't want to raise some bitch ass kids.
Valid point.
I wouldn't want them to be one of these fucking cancel culture, fucking social influencer ass kids. Fuck all that shit.
Yeah.
You know, these parents are too lenient. Back in my day, we had belts for kids who think they can take it upon themselves to talk to people the way they want. You know what I mean? That's what I was raised in. That's my era. Trying to bring that back, baby. One time for domestic abuse, y'all. Shout out to all the parents that are doing it right at home. All right. Shout out. One time for parental violence, y'all. Let's do it. Let's do it, y'all. Cheers here.
Oh my god, man.
Oh shit.
One time for all the parents that are giving their kids licks.
You know. One time for all the parents that are doing it right.
Oh my god.
I'm just saying, those kids, they probably ended up, you know, all you know, mature and you know, just you know, respecting their parents, respecting their adults. Those are the good ones.
It's definitely like a weird generation thing that feels like it's just like shifted over the past like couple of years. I feel like it was only like starting to change around the early 2000s or like the 90s, where in the 90s it was okay to hit your kids. Way before then, like back in even school, your teachers used to beat the shit out of you for like saying the wrong thing with sticks and like, but it's only up until about recent, maybe like 20 years, where like it was like bad to look and be like, okay, we can't hit your kids and you have to teach them a certain way and this and that. And like, I guess, Carlos, do you agree with that? Like
to hit your kid?
Yeah, like jokes aside, like I guess I don't know what, like there's probably like an actual term for it. I just don't know what the term is. Like I wouldn't even call it violence. Yeah, would it just be like
doing the right thing? That's what the fuck that's called. Discipline. You know, you gotta
like physical discipline.
Yeah,
I guess is like an overall kind of word for it.
It's I mean, obviously, you know, you only hit your kids. I know there are some parents who, I don't know these parents, but I know parents who just do it for the fun of it because they want that, they have that dominance, that power. But there's I know my parents. I got hit a few times, not many, but when I did, it was because, you know, I was in trouble and like they told me never to do that shit again. I'm like, all right, you got it. So, you know, I know from when I grew up, it was out of love because they cared about me and they did not want me to, you know, continue the trouble that I was causing. Obviously, I don't think violence in any way is okay. But I mean, so long as it's in an octagon or a four-sided ring. But unless your parents get you in a fucking
a bedroom.
Yeah. You know what I didn't want to say it.
I just play.
I just want to say it. She want to go toe to toe with me. I mean, just know. Just know. I do it to submission, and I ain't the one tapping out. Feel me? You know what I'm saying?
Ain't wearing no gloves out here.
Jesus Christ.
Number 316, man. What happened to John, man? Like my pick for the worst.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, just like. Yeah, this is a toughie. I don't think it's okay to hit your kid. But at the same time, I mean, like, it's like for my parents, it was like a last resort type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, because I wasn't saying I was a troublemaker, but it's like at home, I was pretty wild. And, you know, they really did like ask me to stop a few times and I just didn't listen. So I don't know. I would like play wrestle with my brother when we were kids. And there was a few times where like he would like cry when he got hurt. And I'm like, oh shit, it's okay. And they like, you know, when my parents hear, they're like, just stop. And then
Cross is still at the top row.
Yeah,
let the jump off.
Fucking just sweet chin music. It's just like, oh.
Little brother's crying. He's like,
I kick the vase over. I'm like, oh fuck. Like, don't cry, dude. I'm gonna get in trouble. And that one time, then my parents, the one time I went too far, you know, my brother dropped and he got a little bit hurt. I'm like, oh, fuck, no, it's okay. My parents overheard it. And next thing you know, I'm challenging him for the WWE Championship with my dad. And I lost drastically. It was it was a very one-sided battle. And yeah, I never wrestled again. Retired that night.
And I guess one of the questions that I have for you, Carlson, like we're obviously going to talk about like the future and stuff like that with our own, you know, potential kids or future kids if we do happen to get to that point in life. Yeah. But it's like, do you see yourself as one of those parents where you think you'll be, you know, physically disciplining your kids at all? Is a question that I have. No, I don't know.
I don't think I would. I hope not. I just hope my kids are good. I know they're they're wild. They're my kids, so I know they're gonna be wild. But yeah, I don't see myself beating my kids. No. Maybe like a slap on the wrist.
It's a hard topic.
Or a backhand if they don't talk to me properly. Get the hell back in the goddamn car.
I think one of the, you know, I'm definitely on the fence about that topic. I think that Carlos and I both know probably children that we've known in our lives where they didn't get hit. Yeah. And they turned out a little bit more
pieces of shit is what they turned out to be.
Like not like
yes, that's exactly
just like characters that we want our kids to be, or we wouldn't want to turn up and like you know, my parents like Carlos's, you know, definitely, you know, disciplined physically when I was out of line. And that's the way that we sort of learned as we were kids, kind of thing. And that's the way that we knew like right from wrong. It wasn't our parents, definitely probably communication issues. Sure. I'll put that, sorry, Ma. And like, that was all they probably really knew on how they saw parenting, because coming from a different country, that's exactly how parenting is, you know, outside of like the first world, like Canada and like the United States, where it's like discipline is how you teach kids right from wrong kind of thing. And they put that on us and they instilled that on us. And then only up until recently where it's like, okay, maybe that's the wrong thing to do. Like even asking Carlos was like, no, I probably won't. Even though Carlos are both evident, you know, me and Carlos are both evidence of like why it works sometimes, right? Like we're sort of, I think we're pretty good kids, you know, to our parents. Like, you know, the relationship is good between our parents and, well, I'm assuming about yours, but I'm sure that Carlos is a good son to his parents. And I think that our generation specifically is evidence of like, you know, sometimes physical discipline is good. And we definitely know kids out there who didn't probably get discipline from their parents, who ended up like troublemakers or spoiled or like those, you know, the bratty kids kind of thing. And that's exactly what you as a parent, sometimes you don't really want, you know. And I hate that it's a hard truth for everyone to kind of hear, but it's like, physical discipline, at least in my personal experience and probably Carlos's, it does work to some extent. And I definitely think that there's probably an extreme, like Carlos brought up earlier, where maybe the parent is not so mentally stable themselves and they're using it more as a dominance kind of factor within the relationship of your kid.
Right.
Or, you know, maybe your parent is hurting mentally and they're not in a good space. And then, you know, they take something too far kind of thing, you know, like it was always the worst to see or to hear it from some of my friends, like getting disciplined in front of me when we were kids kind of thing, you know what I mean? Like that was always the worst. And like I remember seeing like my aunt beat up my cousins and stuff like that because they were out of line. But I think that overall it made us better kids because we knew right from wrong. And one of the things is, I know we're probably going to say a lot of controversial shit this fucking episode, but we would love to hear from you exactly what your thoughts are, and especially topics like this, because it is pretty important. And I think that it's probably going to affect all kids because, you know, that's what humans do. They have babies, raise them, this and that, and they keep going. So we'd love to hear from you.
Do you remember have you ever talked back to your?
Oh yeah.
Oh geez, you do it like it's a.
I remember, so this one story I think I was in grade 3 or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't remember why, I just didn't want to go to school that day. So then I think I was in grade 3, 2 or 3 or something like that. So my mom comes into my room in the morning to wake me up to go to school. I'm like, I don't want to go to school. She's like, you have to go to school. And this is an argument that every kid has had with their parents at any point in time, no matter what background you're from, no matter, I don't know, what family. I'm sure that there's been at least one conversation. Yo, I don't want to go to school.
So then the Chinese. I don't know. I'm just saying, if you're the stereotypical Asian that gets the good grades, I don't think you'd be complaining about going to school.
You like school.
Yeah.
You love school.
Yeah, exactly. Like, dude, like, was there like a do you know of a stereotype or like the nerd in our school that was getting good grades or getting bullied? Have you heard of that at our school?
I think so.
Right?
Our school is pretty cool.
Right?
We're pretty.
That's our experience. That's our experience.
Because all the parents of the kids of our school, they all got beat. We were all level.
That's exactly right.
We were all level-headed.
We all, you know what I mean? Every day was a fucking meeting on why why our parents were beating us and figuring out why, you know. That's exactly what it was. We went to we weren't even discussing lessons. We were just like, you get beat today? I did. Oh, share with the group now. Share. That's it. It was like a fucking AA meeting for
it created friendships.
Yeah.
And connections throughout it all.
My parents used a belt this week. My dad pulled a gun on me. Oh shit.
It was the pistol whip from yesterday. Yeah. But in this case,
yeah.
So to go on with the story, my mom walks in. I don't want to go to school. She goes, get dressed. So I'm sitting there like all moody and fucking like, you know, grumpy and stuff like that. And I put on these pairs of pants and my mom's like, I don't want you wearing those pants to school. And I'm like, why not? And she's like, no, take them off and put on the other pants. So I walk downstairs with the pants that I'm still wearing because, you know, me being me at the time, stupid kid. And I tell you, that rice cooker thing that you have when you bring up rice from your rice cooker, I have never understood why that thing hurts so much.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Because I got my ass whooped.
Oh, dear.
For not wearing the right pants.
Oh, man.
Over and over. Like, overall, it was kind of like, hey, it's kind of ridiculous. They're just paired. They're just pants.
Yeah.
But it's just learning right from wrong, things like that. So I went into school bawling.
Oh, fuck.
Crying. Like, she drops me off. I walk into class. I'm still crying.
Yeah, you had hella stories for the meeting.
My teacher's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm just tired or something. I think I felt it. But then the girls come up to me and they're like, oh, Ryan, what happened? I'm like, oh, you know, back talking my mom. She gave me some licks, you know. And then it worked out in my favor, realistically. So maybe my mom knew that, you know, girls would like it. You know, being emotional and stuff like that. And it was raining that day, you know, so it even like it made it look a little better.
That's bullshit. I cried in class, and everyone called me a fucking crybaby. Man, look at Carlos over there crying, this little bitch. My dad fucking gave me the people's elbow outside. And I'm just going in and I'm fucking dealing with the trauma in class. Like, oh, look at Carlos over there. What a pussy, am I right? And those are just the girls talking. Yeah.
Girls are so cruel, man.
Yeah, man.
Damn.
But yeah, I do remember the first time I talked back to my parents. Oh boy, that was rough. And that was a fuck up on my part. I still feel guilty about it to this day, about what caused it. It was during high school, and I was like really late picking up my brother from, he was still in elementary at the time, and I was really late. And I went to go get him, and then my parents were called to the school because they were out late.
Shit.
I'm like,
that's a dangerous thing.
Yeah.
School calling your parents.
Yeah.
That's definitely the worst.
I'm like, fuck. Why were you late picking up Joel today? I'm like, sorry. And they're screaming. He's like, who are your friends that you were with? Let me talk to those friends. I'm like, yeah, no, that's not necessary. Chill out, relax, sir.
This guy.
Oh, fuck off.
Carlos, leave your brother out the school,
man.
Smoking weed out here.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I want to be clear. That is not why.
Pass me the blunt, Carlos. Stop playing.
Fuck these bitches. All right, y'all, I'm out. Peace. And I just go home. And yeah, on my way home, they're screaming. They're letting me have it on the way home. Like, let me talk to your friends. Like, no. And I told them, they asked me like through 30 times. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to introduce you to my friends. I'm not going to let you talk to them. Okay? It was my doing. I was late. It was me. They're just, and I've never talked to them back to them before, so they were just like baffled. I'm like, Carlos, since when do you talk like this? I'm just like, I'm frustrated. I can't have peace on my, because I mean, he's a kid, and you know, I was just sick because like I never hung out with you guys after school before, and I'm just like, yo, I just want that peace. You know what I mean? I just like, can I just like, you know, just hang out and chill and shit. Because like you guys are, you know, the parents are never home after, you know, after we're done school. So it was just me and my brother. And then just like, fuck, I just wanted my, you know, to chill out the one time. And they were just like baffled. And then my mom starts crying. I'm just like, oh damn, fuck, come on. Really? It's not that serious. It's not like I cursed at you. Jesus Christ.
When your mom starts crying, that's when shit
I'm just like, oh, fuck, I made a terrible mistake. And then, yeah, and then my dad's like, why are you screaming at us? Like, because I was just like, I was upset. And then we just argued and then carried on with our days. Oh my God, that was so rough. And to this day, I mean, well, I'm cool now, but like when my dad argued now, it gets pretty rough. Because like me and him are both quite stubborn, so like he's like, I try to work on it, my stubbornness, but he's just full-fledged. This is me, and I'm not going to change for anybody. So when he has an idea, he's going to stick through it. And I'm just like, oh, really, come on, why can't you just see it my way? It's just no, this is my idea. So like when we go at it, it's just it gets frustrating for both sides.
You get to argue with your dad, eh?
Here we go. Ah, Jesus Christ.
I just play.
Do you want to talk about that? Because that's a pretty heavy topic. If you don't want to talk about it.
Chilling, we're talking about Parenthood here today.
All right.
But yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, but like, yeah, what was that like for you growing up?
Oh, it was gang.
Here we go,
you know?
hiding it with humor.
See all these?
Oh, Jesus. Sorry I asked, bro. Tried to get it out of him. Oh, boy.
No, but I think in this case, it's definitely another one of those topics that it would be interesting to talk about. I think that Carlos and I, and for those who don't know, you know, our personal lives, Carlos has great parents. Both of them have been in his life for as long as I've known Carlos.
You have to fucking remind me of it every day. Jesus Christ.
Which is great.
Yeah.
But, you know, pretty much for those who don't know me, my mom raised me majority of the time. I would say, there's definitely situations where somebody was in the picture here and there, but my mom raised me majority of it. And then my older brother would probably be the closest thing to what I had as like a male figure, I would say, in my lifetime kind of thing. So, my father was never really there. So I think that one of the questions I have for you, Carlos, is that, knowing your friends that grew up without both parents, do you feel like it's better to have both parents always? Or do you like, it really doesn't matter because sometimes, like, the circumstances are different or whatever it may be, but like you coming from having both parents there, I'm assuming, majority of your life, and hopefully to this day.
Yeah.
What is the differences and what do you think of, two people parenting as opposed to like one person parenting kind of thing?
To be honest, I think you're the only one I know that doesn't have. Yikes! I should not have walked into that. Oh man! Wolf.
This is getting real sensitive, man.
Oh,
he is the only motherfucker who has
that. Yeah. Your bitch ass and only one parent. Look at this bitch ass only got one. Oh my god! Yeah, no, that was harsh.
Charles is the one at school being like, you only got one.
Holy fuck. It's like,
yo, mom,
Ryan,
yo, dad.
ain't you the one that only has a mom? What the fuck? Carlos, that's not how you weren't supposed to tell him about that.
Came back, I cut myself shaving in high school. You bitch.
You bitch ass. Your mama ain't teach you. Holy shit, this is getting dark. Okay. On to answer your question.
That's rough. Man.
Fuck.
Damn, girls.
Oh my god. I'm just feeling so bad right now. I'm just like, fuck. Oh, I don't even know how to answer this question.
It's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, again, my parents were, I'm grateful that both of my parents were in my life, knowing that, for some people that, they don't have that. What do I call it? They don't have both parents in their life, which is unfortunate. Obviously I know my parents love me very much, but I'm not gonna lie to you, there are times, and rarely, but there are times where it can be very, very difficult. Like I mentioned earlier with my father, there are times where when we argue, oh fuck, oh my god, it's very difficult. It's considering that me and him are both like quite stubborn, so it can get tough. But yeah, it's I know that he cares about me a lot. I know I joked about it earlier, but like he reminds me every so often. And I remember I was just sitting at my desk and it's like, see what happens when you go to school, when I pay for your college. I'm just like, you don't have to fucking rub it in, dude. You don't have to rub it in, okay? Okay? Like, what do you want? Thank you. All right?
Can I get my hand to the knees?
Yeah. Like, what? Isn't this what you wanted from me? Why do you want me to fucking... Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, although there's good times, obviously, but, like, there can be just as bad, you know? So, but yeah, whether it's one parent or two, so long as you have that influence in your life and someone to look up to that's in your life, and you'll be a-okay. And you are a-okay. Ryan, you need some working on to do, so I'm not gonna lie, but to all the fans out there.
So for any therapists or psychologists that are listening, drop your line.
Work on this guy here because he's a fucking
kiss me through the phone.
Oh no, that's not what I was asking for. He needs help.
But in this case,
was it tough for you growing up?
No, not really.
No,
I think my mom did an incredible job. Honestly, I don't see myself doing it differently. I think that was one of the things that I had for you today was, I believe in balance. In life is that everything is in relation to balance. If you're gonna do one thing, there's another thing that's coming for you, or you have to have somewhat of an equal balance of something, because if you have too much of one thing, then it's a little bit overbearing. But I think in this case, like, sometimes having two parents in your life, I would imagine how overbearing it would be, because you're having two authority figures like try to like understand you and like put pressure on you to meet certain standards and like do certain things that you may not be able to kind of meet up to, especially to have two of them. One of the, not, I wouldn't say greatest things, but one of the aspects of my life is that my mom was always working. So it's like for me, I had the freedom to be able to learn things on my own and experiment things and try different things and get in trouble and learn from those mistakes kind of thing. And it's like maybe if I had another parent, then I probably wouldn't have done some of the things that I would have done, but I wouldn't see myself being the person that I am with two parents, I would say. So I would say, because of like my own personal bias, it's kind of like I ended up the same way that I was supposed to end up, I guess. Or, like not supposed to end up, but like the person that I'm happy with now. I don't know who I would have been with two parents. Like imagine who would have you been with one parent? Would you have been more troublesome? Would you have been... Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a different thing. And I think that we all have our own biases. But for me, from an outside perspective, seeing my buddies and like the people that happen to grow up with both parents and like having like the parents be on the same style of parenting and like the balance of parenting, I think that it's always better to have two parents. Always. I think. Just personally, I think like in most circumstances, there's probably definitely some circumstances where people are fucking up out there. Yeah, you shitty ass parents. Yeah, talking to you, TikTok loving ass. Oh, hey. I'm just playing.
Oh, don't mess with that. That's a Chinese.
Social media bash parents.
Oh, easy.
Letting me walk around with my shirt off on Instagram.
Have you done that before?
Hell yeah.
Oh, Jesus. I guess that's the
See, but if my dad, maybe I would have done.
I guess that's where your mom failed you. Letting you do that shit. Shame on you. Oh, dear. And then she's looking on Instagram like, there goes my baby. There's my baby. Literally. Oh, shit. Yeah. There's, I mean, obviously, it's like, because hear me out, it's just normal standard to have both parents in your life. You see what I mean? It shouldn't be like a child should never have the case where like, oh man, I wish I had both parents. Yeah, because that's just at that point, when something is just so normal in your life and you don't have it, it's just like it's kind of sad because at the end of the you're standing out. Yeah. And you don't want to be, no one wants to stand out because it's uncomfortable because you don't have anyone really to relate to, and which is extremely uncomfortable. So when a kid grows up with one parent, and they're relating to those who have both parents, it's kind of like, why can't I have that? What's wrong? Then they start overthinking, like, is it me? Like, was this something I did? And then, or since kids are such blamers, they would blame the mom. Did you ever be like, Mom, why can't I have that?
Oh no, my mom would whoop my ass if I said something stupid like that.
Oh, okay. Oh Jesus.
To this day.
So I wish you would. You're just staring at the parents. And you're like, Mom's like, I wish you would finish that sentence. Finish that question.
As soon as I turn the cheek, this is a fist right here.
My God.
I'm like, yo, Ma.
Oh shit.
We're at the temple right now. I will bust your ass in front of these monks.
Fuck your shit.
Right now.
Oh my God. I'll fuck your shit up right in front of all these people. Now get back to prayer. Holy shit.
Mom's a thug, man.
Holy shit.
So another one of the topics that I think is actually, true and relevant to this day, because we are starting to see it more in like modern day parenting. And one of the things I wanted to get into, because I was thinking about the topic today, was participation trophies. So is there, I feel like now in like modern day parenting, I'm not a parent at the moment. Neither is Carlos, from my understanding. That he knows of.
But bitch, if you keep calling me, I ain't fucking picking up. Right? I want to see the papers. But I'm not taking that test either.
But in this case, I was going to talk about like positive reinforcement as opposed to like toxic reinforcement. And I'm probably not going to get too deep into this topic because I'm not a professional in it, but I feel like a lot more is going on with our kids nowadays where we're sort of coddling them a little bit more, as opposed to letting them sort of be exposed into the world, kind of like the way that Carlos and I, were as kids kind of thing. Like as a kid, one of the biggest things or the biggest changes in the last like 20 years, and I think it's due to a lot of different circumstances, but one of them is like having your grade 4 kid walk home from school and being okay with that, or like having their own house key and being okay with that, or letting them go hang out with their friends after school, and not having to worry where they are and like whether they're going to be kidnapped and this kind of shit. Like I remember when I was in grade like 2 and 3, or like even grade 1, I used to go hang out with my friends until dark, and then I just come home whenever.
That's crazy.
And then my mom would be like, "Man, where were you? You should have said something." And then I get my ass beat, but then I would do it again. But there wasn't a scare to be like, "Oh, like where's my kid? I need to call the police," like this and that. I feel like there's more of a coddling aspect in parenting nowadays as opposed to there was before.
Coddling and what, like, are you saying that kids are being picked up more, or like?
I think we're not giving children the exposure that they need to learn the lessons in life by letting them be a little bit more free at a young age. I think like getting your ass kicked in grade school at a young age sort of gets you to understand like this is getting your ass kicked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you might not have done it for the right, or you may not have gotten your ass kicked for the right reason, or like bullied for the right reason, but you understand like the situation better, as opposed to being an adult or like a teenager going into high school and not understanding like, why this stuff happens and where it happens, and the freedom to make mistakes. Like that's another thing. Like I think for you to be able to kind of be young and make mistakes out there, whether you fall off your skateboard or you break your bike, and it's like, what are you going to do now? Do you call your parents, or do you try to fix your bike, or like do you get up and start walking, kind of thing? It's like I feel like parents nowadays are doing a little bit too much like helicopter parenting, or whatever they call that parenting, where it's like you watch over your kids a little bit too much and you're not letting them learn about life and like the aspects that we got to learn as kids going out when we're younger.
I mean, because when I grew up, my parents were, I wouldn't say they were vultures, but I was just like, because when I was a kid, I was terrified of my father because he would scream all of like, oh, fuck. He would scream at me whenever I get in trouble. Like my grades were low, he would just scream and just like, oh, fuck, I really don't want to piss this guy off because I don't want that stress in my life and shit. So that's why I try to avoid like, fights and all that shit. Like obviously there's going to be that pressure. Like, Carl should go kick that kid's ass. He fucking said 50 Cent was a shitty rapper. I'm just like, man, I would, but fuck, I want to talk to my dad and shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, fuck it, whatever.
That's gonna fuck me up.
Yeah. And then I'm thinking like, man, people are saying that I'm a pussy and you're not with unit. I'm like, yeah, man, I don't know. It's just, there's a different, yeah, because at the end of the day, I'm not, how do I say this? Okay. I don't feel like as a kid growing up, I didn't want to, come across as like the bad kid. I just wanted to go to school, hang out with my friends as much as I can during the time I could. And then as soon as school's done, I go home because my parents just want me home right after school. That's it. You know what I mean? And I just mind my own business. I don't want to, because I only got suspended like once in high school. And that was even then, I was just like, fuck it. My parents are like devastated about that. I was literally for one day, like, what have you done? What have you done to this family?
You're not going to go to university.
Yeah, that's anymore. It. Your life is over. What if all that work, what have you done? That really wasn't the end of the earth. But, yeah, but even still, man, like I still got into like detention after school, and like, because like, I'd still get in trouble in terms of like grades or like talking too much. That was a big problem
Yeah.
for me growing up, talking a lot during class. Yeah, just my parents are just like really on me to like do better because you know they came to this country with almost nothing. You know, they risked it all. So obviously there's a lot of pressure on me to, you know, do well and then go to a good school and then pay for it. And then I did all that, and then now I'm on a fucking podcast trying to make it work here. So for all you kids listening, fuck school and do just do what you gotta do to survive and live life, man. No, yeah, just like, yeah, dude, it's tough to, you know, let kids just be kids, you know, because you obviously you don't want to coddle your kid because you don't want them to turn into like some pansy, but at the same time, you want to, you know, make sure they're okay, and you'll never know where's that right balance because you're still because even still like even if whether it's your first kid or your third kid, you're gonna have to figure it out because everybody is different.
Yeah.
So yeah, just don't coddle your kids too much, and don't nurture them to be like a goody two shoes because like if you watch over them too much, they're just gonna wild out later. Like country girls right here are like the fucking wildest chicks like on the planet. Like there was like stats saying like almost all country girls are like willing to give it up the first time you meet them.
Whoa.
So my thing for you is why the fuck are we here? Let's go down to country. Fucking just, but no. Yeah, just don't coddle your kids too much. And also, what worries me is about the future of the kids is I'm seeing a lot of postings on Instagram of their children, you know, taking pictures and, you know, and like every single day posting stories with their kid. Listen, I'm happy that you had a kid and shit, but I'm gonna be real with you. I don't give a fuck. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, just I worry that, you know, the constant posting of your kids is gonna really affect them. Because obviously you're gonna post videos of your kids in good moods, which implies you're gonna spoil your kid to get a good quality content of video and photos for the Instagram. So that's worrisome.
That's a great topic. And the thing about like that topic specifically is that we've had sort of somewhat of precedence to be able to learn from in those cases where and I hate to say it, but like even like during the 90s, like there was a lot of pressure on kids to be some sort of like a star and stuff like that. So like remember how like in the 90s there was like those Disney clubhouses or Mickey Mouse
Clubhouse, yeah.
It's that kind of thing where there was like young childhood stars that we know to this day and look up to, like Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears, all that kind of stuff.
Chazé, Ryan Gosling.
I'm sure a lot of them turned out wonderfully, but there are certain circumstances where being exposed to like the public and like Hollywood culture at such a young age, it's like they're still developing their like mindset at a young age and like maybe not knowing everything because they're spending more time like, you know, working on certain projects or like being on television and all that kind of stuff. Sort of ruin the development that potentially needed to be there at that point in time to give them like good values and, you know, to treat them well and, you know, keep them like disciplined, I would say. And then we see some of the celebrities that gone through that at a young age and they grow up now and it's like, man, like that person's like a little bit off, you know, or a little bit unstable now. And we
shout out to Demi Lovato, man. You know who you are, bitch.
But I think in this case, with like things like Instagram, with things like social media, and I did want to talk about this in depth a little bit more too, it's that the more exposure that we have at a young age for these kids to act or to be on display, it ruins the mentality of like them just kind of understanding like regular things in life. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I have to videotape this, or I have to be on like act, or I have to be like on stage at all point in time. I have to look good.
Know who you are.
You don't really know who you are because you're living like an Instagram life or like a social media life.
Where your life is literally in front of the camera.
Like I saw I was at my stepdad's house, and he has 2 young children that are exposed to YouTube, social media, TikTok, all that kind of stuff. And he's like, "Oh, do you want to watch this thing?" And he's like 5 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Sure." So he shows me it, and it's like this whole YouTube family that just YouTubes their life on a daily basis and what they do. So then this whole episode of like an hour of them was just going to the dentist and their kids being like drugged, and then like when you get like your teeth pulled, you get put on like drugs and you're a little bit woozy. So the whole episode was them like, oh, they got their teeth pulled, and like, look at my kids being all woozy and acting all funny and shit like that. And I think that to expose your children at a young age, because these people were the kids were probably only about like maybe 7, like 10. And it's like these kids are being exposed to like having to put themselves on display even in their most vulnerable moments sometimes, you know, and like to be on act at all times and to have a camera in their face because their parents are getting probably a paycheck at the end of the day from YouTube because how many views it brings in.
Right.
It's a scary, scary thing. And I pray for those kids that they end up okay, because that at a young age, not being able to kind of develop mentally and have a parent that's willing to like teach you.
Not having a childhood, really.
Yeah. I'm not talking shit about the parents. Like maybe they're doing a really good job.
What the fuck were you thinking?
I don't know. Maybe they're doing a really good job. I don't know, but it's pretty fucked up.
But you know what I mean? Like, you know, could it be her teenage daughter getting her first period, and then instead of getting pads, she comes with her cell phone. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, not everything has to be on video. I think in terms of, you know, these child stars, the best case would probably be Michael Jackson. He's been famous since like he was like 5 years old.
Yeah.
And he was like famous, and you know, he's been pretty like astronomically famous until he died.
That's a perfect example.
He fucking, you know, his dad would beat him to fucking make it to practice to ensure that he gets the dance and the singing notes right and shit. Rumors saying that he got castrated, which I don't think is accurate. Why would you? I don't think so. I hear that he was a real ladies' man before he passed. So
yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, you're the king of pop. Ain't no fucking way, bro. Like, come on.
Yeah,
come on, dude.
I'd switch teams.
There's no need for the fucking shirt on. Yeah, just like, and people were like, "Oh, this dude's a weirdo. This dude's a fucking lunatic for having, you know, to hanging out with kids and having an amusement park and shit." He's been famous since he was 5 years old. Yeah. He literally did not have a childhood. Nothing. His entire life was being on the stage singing for millions of people. So like, if you think he's like, you know what I mean? If you were in his shoes, you'd probably do the same thing. 100%. Just bring in, you know what I mean? Like, you'd want something that you cherish so much just to fit in. You know what I mean? And I think it's a unique thing there where here's Michael, where millions of people would die to be him. Well, he's literally dying to be like everybody else. Yeah. Interesting.
It's a sad, sad story what happened to Michael.
For sure. It's a tragic life.
You know, Carlos and I are both big MJ fans. Like, we're gonna die with that.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't sit there and criticize him and think he's weird and stuff like that. He was literally just trying to live a normal life at the end of his days, kind of thing, you know. And like, the argument on our end is that because he didn't have that childhood, he wanted to live it out when he had the ability to, or had the freedom to, you know, as an older person, which maybe looked at weird and was looked at weird by the rest of the world and criticized heavily. Like
on the news, literally every day, like, people criticizing him simply because he's hanging out with these kids or
building Wonderland,
adding
a monkey and that kind of stuff.
It's just like, bro, you know what I mean? You finally have that, you know, you grow up, you literally lost your childhood. You finally have that time to say, all right, I have my own money. What do I want to do with it now? Well, he wasn't influenced to make the right money decisions, right? He had all these people going, you need to do this, this, and this, where he's just like, I just want to hang out.
Yeah.
That's all he wants. Like, he can't even go grocery shopping. He couldn't even go like to the mall. He can't go to no club. You know what I mean? He had to literally freaking have surrounded by thousands of people screaming at him while he's, and all he wanted was a childhood. And you know, his dad said, you know, like, kid, you're gonna be big, and you're gonna be my meal ticket out of this neighborhood. So, you know, work your ass off. And it sucks.
Yeah.
It was it's heartbreaking. And I fear that there's similarities going with that with this social media age, whether it's the family themselves or the family putting the kid on blast. Because you know that Lil Tay, you remember Lil Tay, that Asian girl?
Okay, yeah.
That would scream being all hood and shit.
Yeah,
and then like when they actually find out that she didn't want to do that at all, it was her brother and her mom literally just like feeding her all these lines to say and shit. And she and like you can see like behind the scenes, she was like fucking miserable doing that shit. Like everyone thought that she was a little shit for talking the way she was because she's stunting and shit, but like she didn't even want to do that shit. I'm just like, fuck, man. You know, like this day and age, anyone can be famous with, you know,
with a phone,
just like that. All you need is a phone, and you're set, and you can be famous so long as you record the right content. But at what risk? Like at what cost? Do you know? Are you trying to get to that fame, get that attention, get that money?
All perfect examples of terrible overparenting. Like just people trying to use your children as like a meal ticket, like Carlos said, or to use them to get big or whatever it may be, to bring in a paycheck kind of thing. It's like, I understand you have to eat, but it's like you don't, as a parent, and I'm sure that everyone that happens to be listening probably agrees, it's like you don't use your children as a tool to be able to survive in life. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's the wrong way.
I wouldn't want to ruin my kid's life just to make mine better.
Yeah, that too. You already have parenting wrong.
Yeah,
if you have that thought.
You know what I mean? Like, that is not what parenting is. You're supposed to instill the knowledge that you got when you grew up on your kid, to for them to either learn it for themselves or for them to avoid the mistakes that you make. You know what I mean? That's what I see parenting as. That's what I would hope to do for my kids. Like, sure, they're gonna make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone has those days. That's Hannah Montana. I'm fucking going to hell.
That was Hannah Montana?
It was.
Hannah Montana.
Hannah Montana. Hannah Montana. Hannah Montana. Woof. Woof. The one thing the Migos got right. Yeah, just like, I don't want to be those fucking, what's the term for those type of parents? Like, is it
shitty ass parents?
Okay. Godzilla parents, or fucking, yeah, just I don't want to be those parents that fucking either records everything they do so they become a star, or you know which parents are the worst? Those fucking beauty pageant parents.
Oh yeah.
Oh Jesus Christ.
Betty Butter.
You're submitting your child to fucking wearing bikinis and shit and doing dude, what the, and wearing all that fucking makeup.
That's weird.
That is gross. What are you doing? Those are the worst kind of parents.
I'm honestly surprised. What was it, TLC or the?
Yeah.
I'm surprised that show network. And for those who don't know what we're talking about, in North America, there is this television channel, or
I think it's in other continents as well.
But TLC, they specifically had this show where it was all like what do they call them?
Beauty pageants?
Beauty pageant, like children.
Yeah.
And then how their parents have to like get them ready and like do all this. But these girls are like literally like 5.
Yeah.
And like maybe up to 8 at most or something like that. Which is fucking borderline pedophilia.
Oh, 100%. And you got grown ass men judging them too.
That's like fucking super weird. I'm pretty sure we've talked about this in the past on an old episode. But
maybe.
It's super fucking weird. But I'm surprised it lasted that long. I think it's probably still going.
Yeah.
And for North American culture to even have a show like that, that's super fucking
have a thing like that.
Yeah, that's like super fucking weird.
Odd. I hope shit like that doesn't happen. You think shit like that happens here?
Where?
In Canada?
Oh yeah, I'm sure of it.
What?
100%.
Where would you think?
I don't know. There's probably in Toronto.
Fuck off! I don't think so.
I'm sure of it.
Toronto? No way.
I'm sure. Like,
I think
if we can probably like walk around like downtown Toronto and find like a casting thing for like a kids commercial. And it might be maybe not as like fucking odd as like beauty pageants, but there's probably some weird shit going on, like in those like casting calls and that kind of stuff.
Oh no, I don't like where this is going.
I'm just saying, man. There's got to be some weird shit going on.
Well, yeah, there's some weird parents. Too.
Some weird shit.
Parents.
One of the stigma questions I did want to get to you, Carlos, and I think that this is a question for all men, because it is an interesting topic when we talk about it at least once in a couple of years.
Yeah.
You and your friends.
Yeah.
You having a daughter.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What are your thoughts, Carlos? What are your thoughts?
Probably the music from Apocalypse Now is going through my mind. Fuck. Gonna have to put double time in the gym membership. Work on my intimidation tactics. Here's the deal. If I had a daughter, I would be fucking nervous as shit. I'd be like, oh fuck.
I don't even have any other words, man.
Like
oh shit.
No other
fuck.
No adjectives or descriptions to. Oh my god, that would be terrifying. Dude, I'd be scared. I'd be so scared. But at the same time, no, I think it'd be a little exciting, to me, to being cool with, regardless if it's a son or a daughter, but if it was specifically a daughter in this situation, I think that'd be cool. I'd be a little intimidating, to the boys that she may be introduced to. Be like, what up? Let's see, how you doing? I'm 2-time Emmy award-winning comedian Carlos Assay. I may make jokes on TV, but I don't fuck around when it comes to my kids. And then we'll have ourselves the bad boys situation when they come home. Probably not you. I'd probably get like Tixon or like Idris. I think Idris would be good.
What?
No, really.
No offense to those guys.
Daniel.
Love y'all, but
what?
This face?
Exactly. That's why you can't be the intimidating. Because you just
you're a good looking dude, man.
Exactly. Get the fuck out of here. What the fuck you doing with my daughter? Yeah. I can't do that. I don't know.
Well, actually, I'm Uncle Ryan, man. Yo, you a good looking dude, man. What up?
God.
Nice shirt, brother. Where did you get that from?
Anyway. You had one fucking job, man. Shit.
Yeah, I know. I'd be a terrible.
Jesus. You'd be too lenient with them kids, man.
The reason why.
What about you? What about you with a daughter?
Well, the reason why I asked that question is because it's such a common question for like guys when they talk about parents. I think that every guy's probably talked about it once in their life, where it's like, oh, I would be so scared to have a daughter. I would like hate to have a daughter because I got to deal with like the guys or them like acting a certain way and this and that. And it's tough, man, because like for me personally, I would actually love a daughter. I've always loved like the thought of having a daughter. I know all of the scary parts of it where it's like you have to deal with their boyfriends and like then maybe not acting appropriately the way that you think that your daughter should be acting. All of that kind of stuff comes into play when you happen to think about it. But I think that it would be a lovely thing. I think it's definitely a challenge for any parent to have any sort of kid. But I think a daughter would be one of the harder challenges because you want them to grow up strong and you want them to grow up a certain way. And, you know, we know as guys in this world, we know how some women act and how some women can get. And like, it's like, we may want that for our woman, but we wouldn't want that for our daughters, which happens to be a weird kind of double standard that guys have. But it's tough, man. It's a really tough situation. But I think that I would personally like to have a daughter eventually.
1 second. The previous points made by Ryan do not reflect the views of Carlos. and the good people here at the blank. Thank you.
But yeah, no, I don't know. I would like it. It would be a good challenge. I think that it's a lot more work, I would say. And I hate to say that because, you know, like, I just feel like guys are stupid and easy. Just give them food and let them figure it out on their own.
Right, so simple. That's all it takes.
But like,
That's
there's
all
so
we
much
have.
that goes into like young, you know, women being a girl and like, you know, certain like aspects and like beauty standards and like having to meet that and get them to like understand exactly what's going on in the world. Like, one of the biggest statistics that came over the last couple of years, and I think we've talked about it in our social media, you know, aspects of the show, where it's like, you know, like teenage suicide in women have like what's the word again?
Excrement?
No.
Excrement.
Exponentially increased over the past like 20 years due to things like Facebook and due to things like cyberbullying and like that kind of stuff. And there's definitely probably an increase in males as well, but not
something in it.
Yeah, there's like a little it's like a little air ball thing that like aerates the beer. Because if you go to it's a sickness. But with Guinness, usually when people pour it at the bar, they have to like let it aerate. So that's why you don't ever get a Guinness right off the top. They like pour it halfway, then they let the foam sit down a bit, and then they pour the rest. Let the foam sit down. They're supposed to let it sit for a bit, and I think like cut the foam off. And then I think that the ball inside of the can, for those who have never drinking Guinness in a can, it's actually quite wonderful and different. But they have a little ball inside of it that you can like. Yeah,
it's not an ASMR episode, man. Relax, dude.
But yeah, I don't even know what I was talking about now. Oh, okay, sorry.
Daughters.
But yeah, like daughters and like, you know, having to worry about like suicide rates and like beauty standards and like whether they're gonna fit in and that kind of stuff. I think that's like wildly important. I think that males have the same issues.
My heart is just racing just thinking about shit like that.
That males have the exact same issues,
God
but
forbid
I don't
she
think
ever watched 13 Reasons Why or something.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff. And we hear about, you know, all of the wild shit that just happens to grade school and like high school for women, and it's tough, man. It really is. To have to try and meet like certain standards of other boys because you want boys to like you, and like when you start liking boys, and then even like Carl said earlier, like having a period, like you as a male, it's like I don't know what to do. I've never had a period before. I don't know how to deal with that.
Honey, get in there.
And it's like you hope that you have that other person to balance out the parenting, but it's like if you are a single parent and have a daughter, it's like you can only do your best, but your best might not be enough as a parent. So it really stretches like you as a person to be like, okay, I have to be able to take on more aspects that I might not be ready for. But I think that having a daughter and to teach them and go through with them is really going to give you a better perspective on life in general, as opposed to having a boy. So I would love to have a daughter, just to be put under that effort and to hopefully grow a strong woman at the end of it. I think that would
like Olympic strong or like mentally strong.
Well, if she wants to go to the Olympics.
Would you be okay with that if your daughter becomes this fucking Brock Lesnar-esque?
Yeah, why not, man? Let's do whatever you want.
Pop. Just got my periods. What's good? Oh shit. I don't know, dude. I don't know. Yeah.
But an interesting topic to talk about.
Oh fuck. Yeah, I don't know what I do with a daughter. I mean, I would have to figure it out.
Yeah.
But I would love her unconditionally. Whatever the case may be. Except for if she was alpha. No, I'm kidding. Oh, chill.
Holy,
I went there, man.
Shit,
oh man, that was.
Oh my god.
Risque.
That's...
Oh, we're not touching that?
Carlos is about to bring up a topic that I am not going to say a word about.
Yeah.
It's all Carlos in this segment.
Fine, I'll talk about it. Fuck it.
I have no...
Yeah. Dude, why is this fear of... where's this fear of making jokes about the alphabet people? It's okay. Like, dude, hear me out. Here's my take on it. If my child ever came out as, as part of the LGBTQ, I would ask, depending on the age. Because I feel like if she's like 20 or he is like 20 and makes that decision, fine. Okay.
Mature enough to know.
You exactly. I just don't want my kid to be 5 years old and then you making that decision.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Where is this coming from? Why do you feel this? Since when do you feel this way? Like, you know, we all have that conversation. Even when they're 20, I'll probably have the conversation. It's like, where did it, you know, like, are you sure? Like, you know, if you want to, because I don't want them, regardless if it's whether they're sexually interested into the same sex or if they're transgender, or even if they get a tattoo, really. I don't want them to make a decision where they may feel they might regret it later on in life, especially at a younger age.
Yeah.
I don't know how cancelable what I'm saying, but I think I'm making sense here.
No comment.
Yo, fuck you, you fucking pansy, you coward.
Yet again.
Wow.
I plead the fifth.
Yeah.
No.
Fucking.
Carlos on his own
Yeah,
here.
Jesus Christ.
No, I agree. I agree with Carlos. I think that it's definitely you as a parent. You have to do your job sometimes to step in, and sometimes even though there's preference and you know your kids mature and can make their own decisions, sometimes you as a parent have to step in because you know what's better for them.
Right.
And I think that there's certain aspects, and you know we've gone through, at least in a couple of years, because it's been exposed more to media, but I'm sure this probably happened in like the 80s and 70s and all that kind of stuff too. But definitely when, you know, kids happen to either make like a young transition from like one gender to another, you know, because they feel a certain way at their youth, we're talking about like making major changes in your life as a young person, and then the parent supporting that, potentially with them regretting that decision later in life.
And what's scary about it is that once they make that decision, because we live in a day and age where, you know, it's enforced to, if you ever, whatever life you want to live it. My thing is, if my kid wants to make that decision and I go through with it, I don't want to, I don't want that kid, you know, that kid to feel like later in life, oh, I regret what I did. But them, it would hurt me for them not telling me that they regret what they did. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we live in a day where everything is so reinforced, where the world is literally supporting you. You get attention because, you know, you either come out as gay or transgender or bisexual. Exactly.
Yeah, the coddling.
And it's not even just from parents. It could be friends, you know, online supporters that are proud of the decision you make. And now that, you know, people are aware of the decision, even though you may have like, you know, constant regret over the decision you make later in life, you have to maintain it because all these people are supporting you.
Yeah.
And I don't ever want to have my kid go through that, or at least to feel like the world is watching, so you can't go back with what you can do. So my thing is, if you're going to make that decision, wait till you're mature enough to live life. Don't worry about all that shit. Just be a kid. That's what I want to impose on my kids, really, because that's one thing for me, you know, because although I didn't really do the whole party thing in high school, or like I didn't drink until like my last day of graduation. I didn't smoke until like smoke weed, that is, until like 2 years later. Yeah, but you know, just live your life as a kid. Don't worry about all the politics and shit.
Yeah.
Just be a kid. And I know that, you know, people are just like, you know, now they're introducing classes in like university on like weed and like taxes and shit in elementary schools. But just like, should they really be learning that shit? They should just be kids. We shouldn't even be learning calculus in fucking school. Like, that shit's not useful in the real world. So long, you know what I mean? Just like, be a kid. Just like, don't let the world pressure you into doing anything you feel like you might feel is the right thing. But like, if you don't want it for you, don't do it. Be young, be wild, be free. Watch Power Rangers, man. I remember people used to make fun of me We're watching Power Rangers in fucking 3rd grade. Like, I'm in the right time. I'm in the right age grade to watch the show. Why are you making fun of me? You know what I mean? And then these guys are like, "Oh man, you don't watch BET." I'm like, I do watch BET also. I watch the videos.
There's a Black Power Ranger.
Yeah, there's a black one. Why are you making fun? There's a Black Power Ranger. You know what I mean?
Didn't he only have one thumb or something?
I think he's missing like
Missing a finger.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Is that cool? You like that there's a Power Ranger? They couldn't find one with 10 fingers, motherfuckers. You could have just went out there and just like audition, just like, you know what I mean? You just have to find out one Power Ranger with that one defect. Son of a bitch. No, I'm playing. Zach Taylor, if you're watching, you're cool, man. Yeah, just be a kid, dude. Don't make all these decisions now that because they're obviously exposed in the YouTube age where all they see is politics and shit. Just be a kid.
I definitely agree with Carlos. There's definitely a lot of like, external pressure.
You agree with me that
outside.
all of the LGBT people should be exterminated?
No, I definitely do not. No comment in this. I'm just gonna walk out of this.
Was this the wrong Oh shit, I'm sorry guys. Oh no.
In this case, there's just a lot of external pressure from the outside world, and our kids voluntarily expose themselves to these things with things like social media, things with more exposure to the internet, the smart devices that we have in our pockets, pretty much like the world's in here.
Yeah.
For that comes the negative parts of like the pressure to be able to kind of be somebody or to fall into a certain category or to belong or whatever it may be. Carlos says it best, honestly, like we're taking the childhood away from these children and having them have to sometimes make these like crazy decisions as a young child. It's like, man, you shouldn't have to do that.
Jumping into the role of adulthood from the get-go, man.
And we're slowly like picking at their childhood more and more and taking that away from them, either by coddling them too much as a parent and then also throwing them into like the woods of like social media without having like to sit down and talk with them and be like, yo, this is how shit works. This is why you shouldn't care about this, or this is why, like this is what happens, and explain to them exactly what social media is outside of what they just see it through their friends or what they see it through their phones. If you as a parent are not having those conversations with your child, you're only setting them up to fail by giving them the freedom to be able to not, do certain things. And it's like, I'm not saying don't take your kid away from fucking social media. Don't pull them fully out, but at least get them to fully understand so that these pressures from the outside world do not come too hard on them. Otherwise, you're not doing yourself a good job as a parent, I would say.
Yeah. Would you let your kid get a cell phone?
Oh yeah.
In elementary school?
I don't know if they need one. I'd be like, look, here's a pair of running shoes. You better run your ass home.
If there's ever any danger.
If there's any danger. Here's a house key.
Yeah. Get yourself inside.
Yell fire.
Yeah.
Knock on a door. So I had one story I forgot to say earlier in the day.
Yeah.
So the other day, my little brother, Hunter, he's probably gonna be listening to this episode down the line.
Hunter.
But we'll look about that later and laugh, probably. But in this case, I feel like because of the way that parenting and like the modeling of parenting has now sort of shifted from my generation to my younger brother's generation. He happened to be 13. We went to a burrito place down the street from my apartment, and when you get to pick your own toppings.
Yeah.
So instead of, I'm like, hey, what do you want? Like, go tell the lady like what you want for your toppings. And then he whispers to me and goes, is she gonna be mad if I get too much? Or like, can I have thing of this?
Yeah.
And the reason why I bring up the story is because like when I was 13, like me and Carlos used to just go to like a Subway and be like, yeah, I want salad, I want this, I want that. Here's $20. It's like I expect a certain amount of change. We learned the value of like $1 when we were younger, and we learned how to talk to like the general public and like strangers and like going to the convenience store and buying stuff on your own. And like all of those lessons get learned when you have the freedom to be able to do so when you're younger.
Yeah.
Because you're out and about, You're talking to people. You're learning how to, converse with strangers. Even though there was stranger danger when we were younger, but we learned how to be like, hey, if I feel uncomfortable in the situation, then bounce. And it's like the coddling nowadays of our children. I feel like there's too much of it to the point where I have a 13-year-old kid who doesn't know how to order his own burrito.
Is that coddling?
I think
or it's
so.
just like,
I think it's
like he doesn't go out often.
Yeah, and that's because my parent doesn't want him to go out too often.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why? So what was the difference between growing up with you and how he's growing up? Like, what's the difference?
She didn't care what I did as long as I showed up at home.
Oh, so she doesn't love you?
Hell no.
Yikes.
I remember showing up at my house at like 2 a.m. on like a Thursday, grade 7, and like 12 at night on like a Wednesday or a Friday night. I'd show up at like 12 a.m. or like 12 at night or something like that, and it was just like the freedom to be able to do all that kind of stuff. I was allowed to be able to kind of go live in the world and like talk to strangers and order food when I had money in my pocket and like that kind of stuff. But I feel like now it's like, because we do too much for our children or we over helicopter them, they don't get to learn how to converse with strangers. They don't learn like, how much change you should be getting back, or like the value of the dollar or whatever it may be. You know what I mean? Like they just don't get enough of that real world experience because we happen to coddle them a little bit too much. That was just one of my examples.
Yeah, because that's interesting that Hunter would think that.
Like it's an interesting thing, and like even though he's my little brother,
if you're listening, like, man, who fucking gives a shit if she gets mad at you? It's her job, all right? So if you want that fucking spice on your burrito, you fucking get that spice. It's like, listen here, woman. Oh, yeah. It's okay to address her by gender. Me too. I'm gonna go for it. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. That's what you say to her. I don't give a fuck. All right? I see boobs. You're a woman. I went there. Nope. This is big brother to little brother time. He needs this. So here's what's the deal. You're gonna put that fucking spice on my burrito. You're gonna put all these fucking toppings on the burrito, and I don't care if you're upset. You picked the job, you applied, you accepted the offer. Now put it on my burrito. And then you crunch up the fucking $10 and be like, here you go, bitch. Enjoy your day.
And that is how Carl's ordered the burrito before we even got to this.
Is why I should never raise children.
But one of my examples of just the coddling effect, yeah, I don't know. It was just an interesting thing. It was
like is he a shy kid?
And I think that's part of it. I think that you not being too much exposed to like the general public and like the world, and to do certain things like that, to go order your own food and to go to the mall and hop on the bus. Like I remember going on the bus when we were young, right? Yeah. And like I remember I asked him, I'm like, have you ever been on the general public bus like with your boys and stuff? He's like, maybe once, but we just went down the street. And it was kind of like, there's such a big difference in like the way that kids act now, where it's like before we would just bike ride to the mall.
Well,
and it's like before, like I feel like nowadays kids don't do that as much as we used to be able to.
Does he have a cell phone?
Yeah, he does.
Well, I think that's probably what plays a part in it.
Yeah.
It's just that, the fact that because we didn't, well, I mean, I guess we had cell phones, but we didn't have accessibility to social media. So there wasn't that option to chat with, because like back in our day, we would get charged for a certain amount of text.
25 cents a text, man.
So it's like we had no choice but to hang out with each other to really get to know one another. Whereas you can do it via social media or
online
as much as you want. So you don't really have to leave your house or do anything after school, because you can just hang out and have like a group chat and shit. So that's where I'll defend Hunter for. At the same time, Hunter, get your ass out the fucking house. You're a good kid, all right? You shouldn't be worried about what people think of you if whatever you put on your goddamn burrito. All right? Listen, Hunter, man to man. I know you like your video games, but I'll be damned if you're going to be staying at home all day playing them, all right? You're going to go out there. You're going to fucking make friends with people. You're going to talk to women. Oh, yes, women. And you're going to fucking be the man. All right, Hunter? See? Love you, kid. Fucking go out there. Take the world as your fucking oyster.
That's the way to parent.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
That's the
Now I'm back on the train. For all you adoption agencies, I'm here, baby. Where the kids at? Let them raised by Carlos. Carlos! Yeah.
Final thoughts, Carlos.
Fuck social media.
You got any final thoughts?
And fuck them kids. Michael Jordan.
Oh my god.
Fine, if I have to instill knowledge. To all the parents out there, just it's tough. There's not really a rule or a manual book to really know how to raise your kids. Just, you know, take it step by step. And if you're really unsure, just ask friends how they would do it. You know, get their opinion on things, and don't just ask the one friend. Ask it. You know, it's okay if you have close friends that are parents. Just ask them. You know, but really talk to your kid too to see how they feel. You know what I mean? That would really go to show. Like, obviously, if you know, going back to it, you know, if your kid wants to come out as gay for some reason, and you ask them why, and they say, "Oh, because my friends are gay, and so I just want to fit in." Yeah, they don't want to be gay. You know what I mean? Just really just get to know your kid to really figure out why they want to make the decision they want to make. And, you know, if you know what's right for your kid, then just do what you got to do to get where you want to go. That doesn't imply beating. But yeah, don't
backhand your kid.
Don't backhand your kid. You're not Joe Jackson, and your kid is sure as hell ain't Michael Jackson. All right. And you don't document everything in your life.
Yeah.
Live your life.
That's some weird shit.
Yeah. Don't
and
just
take your kids out of beauty pageants.
Yeah, man. What the fuck?
Sorry to interrupt.
No, don't, please, by all means. These fuckers need to hear. If you're listening to The Blank, you're trying to fill in whatever puzzles you try to fill in, don't take those puzzles to your kid, all right? Fill it in your fucking self. It's your puzzle. You solve it. Yeah. That's all I gotta say. Ryan?
Beautifully said. Beautifully said.
You.
I'm 100% with Carlos.
Fuck 12.
I think that one of the biggest things for parenting nowadays, and the way that I definitely do want to approach it and practice it when I do happen to have my own kids, is communication. Honestly, I think that communication is the biggest thing that, you know, my relationship with my mother, like I lacked as a kid, which probably caused a lot of the issues that I ran into, you know, growing up, and, you know, friggin' testosterone like flying out the window and me going through puberty and all that kind of stuff. I think a lot of it could have been solved if, you know, my parents and myself just happened to communicate a little bit better. And I think that parents nowadays, for us to know, because we've grown up in this part of the world, we see the mistakes of, you know, the people that happen to be out there. So it's like, you as a parent, you have all the tools to be able to recognize and learn, and then do justice by talking to your kids about everything, you know, out there, and like getting them to learn, and, you know, saying your piece in it, and like trying to get them to understand. And even if they don't, at least, you know, you're doing your part as a parent to try and help them be the best that they can be. So that's what I gotta say. But I do have one quick recommendation of a book that I am currently somewhat reading. I put it down a couple months ago.
Somewhat reading? What, did you read the back or something?
I think I'm on like the third or fourth chapter.
How long ago did you start?
Oh, like months ago.
I
haven't been.
Are you gonna recommend this book if you didn't even finish?
No, but the first three chapters are really
fantastic.
Wonderful, wonderfully.
Wow.
American psychologist John Hyatt. I've said his name in the past before, but he has a book with another of his colleagues. I forget the name, unfortunately, so I do apologize about that. But John Hyatt, he writes a book called The American Coddling of the Coddling of the American like child, or something like that. And the whole book's just based off of, you know, how society sort of shifted in a certain way, and like how parents and schooling and the government is sort of taking our kids in and not giving them the opportunity to kind of grow and make mistakes the way that they used to in like the, you know, 90s and the 80s and before then kind of thing. So a great book. I definitely don't agree with everything that happens to be in that book.
It's literally 3 pages. How can you say that then? How can you say you don't agree? It's only 3 pages.
Well,
what did he say?
No, it's like no, it's actually like a full-size book. I just only read a couple pages of it. But in this case, definitely go read it. I'm gonna try and finish it as soon as I can, and then come back with the synopsis.
You're funny.
That's all I gotta say.
My recommendation, Nas, Daughters. It's a good song.
Huge.
Take it, you know. And what's that one song by Lupe? I can't, I won't, I can't.
You say, she said.
Yeah.
It's a sad song.
It's a sad song. That's not bad, but good insight into parenting. Well, the bad side. But still, insight. Not bad. And Just the Two of Us by Will Smith. And Hey Mama by Kanye West. Just all these parenting songs. Just think about that.
Especially the mama ones.
Yeah, for sure. And Dear Mama by Tupac is a big one. That's a good one.
That's a classic.
Yeah. And I think the ultimate parenting song, Kim by Eminem.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's pretty outrageous one.
I mean, hey, you fucked up by cheating on your husband, and you got to get murdered for it. Bonnie and Clyde, 03 Bonnie, is it 03? Bonnie and Clyde?
Jane.
No, the Eminem version.
Oh.
Where he describes where he takes his wife's dead body and the kid is with him at the time, and the kid helps push the body into the river. These were simpler times. Such simpler times.
Yeah.
Those are really good albums though by Eminem. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
legendary.
Oh my God. Like, for all you sensitive people who are not really into music, or who may not be okay with that type of music, listen to the album anyway. Let's just hear your thoughts on it. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for coming to another week. I'm Carlos. What is that? Don't shout out to the Illuminati when we go.
This is Jay-Z.
No. That's the Illuminati. The Illuminati. Don't do that. I'm Carlos.
H to the Izzo. I'm Ryan.
And this is The Blank with Carlos and Ryan. And remember, fill it in.
Cheers.